Here with Matt Lindland, and he's our new National Greco-Roman Coach. And congrats, Matt. I mean,
thank you. Thanks, Craig.
Well deserved, and good luck with everything. And just your thoughts on taking over the program.
Well, my thoughts are today's my second day on the job. I got out here yesterday, and I was already on my way out here with some athletes that I was working with, so it made perfect sense to start work and identifying some of our upcoming talent here at the FILA ages and the university ages. And a lot of our top senior level guys are here competing, getting ready. I mean, I've seen some of our guys that were on Olympic teams and world teams that are here, and it's great to see Thilke back on the mats. I did see him at the Vegas at the Nationals, so it's going to see him at the World Team Trials. And all these guys getting ready, reconnecting with with all the athletes that I've built the relationships with over the few years that I've been working with Greco program.
And Ben Provisor's here, a 2012 Olympian who's coming off an injury. I mean, how good is it to see him back?
It's good to see Ben on the mats. I'm looking forward to seeing him down at actually 80 kilos, but he's up here, and he'll be at 80, I'm sure, for the trials.
You were back involved last year. You're one of the world team coaches. I mean, how much does that help with the transition, being around the guys as much as you were last year?
I think it's an easy transition working with the senior athletes and getting those guys prepared and ready. I know what they do well. I got to identify their strengths with them and focus on getting them prepared for the World Championships, because right now I think we don't have a lot of time to identify new talent and do a lot of recruiting and put our long-term plans into place. Right now, priority number one is take our team, pick them here in the upcoming trials. It's a little different since we have two different trials this year. So we're gonna have pick a team, then we're gonna pick two more guys, kind of deal. But pick our athletes, identify their strengths, and really focus on working to where they're going to put their opponents in their strong positions, and let's compete there this year. See where we can go and focus on improvement and recruitment right after the World Championships.
The U.S. was in the top 10 at the Worlds last year. I mean, there was some improvement made. Obviously, we were looking for more. How do you build off that and kind of progress from there?
Well, I know where I'm starting. There's a lot of ways to build. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take finances. So all those things, I've got to figure out where those resources are. It's going to take manpower. It's going to, I'm going to be able to figure out my budgets and hire coaches and get the right guys in to train the athletes and prepare them properly. There's a lot to do. I've got a whole plan, and I'm not really going to start executing that plan until after the World Championships, because again, priority number one for me is on our athletes and getting those guys ready and fulfilling their needs. And I don't know who those guys are for a couple more weeks, but as soon as we identify our world team, my 100% focus is going to be on getting those guys ready and filling their needs for the World Championships.
Right. Having separate trials for freestyle and Greco, I mean, how much do you think that can help the Greco program?
I know that's the theory. We'll see. Let's test it. Let's try new things. I'm all about trying things that are different. You're gonna see things that are different with our Greco program. You're not gonna see what's always been done, and that's the beautiful thing about bringing in something new, is that you're gonna see change, and we're gonna try new things. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna try something else until we figure out the answer and get us back to where we're the top team in the world again.
Obviously, you were a great competitor as an athlete, Olympic and world silver medalist, very successful in MMA. I mean, how does that translate to coaching for you?
I think it allows me to know what worked for me, what didn't, share that knowledge with the upcoming guys. I mean, that's a great thing. Probably more importantly, the years that I've spent coaching and developing guys through colleges, when I was at Nebraska, coaching my MMA fighters, coaching the Greco guys that I've been coaching over the last few years. That's probably what's going to help the most, is my experience in the coaching side of things, more so than just. I think it's great that I bring a good athletic background and I know how to get there and I know what it takes, but what it takes is a lot of autonomy. Really, you've got to be, as an athlete, you've got to be your own coach, and I want to direct these guys to a point where, really they're so good at doing what they do. They know what they need before I do. But it's going to take a lot of communication with my athletes, and you know, I want to build a strong team that's really tight unit. I mean, that's what I have at my gym at Team Quest. It's like a family unit. You know, we don't always get along. We fight like cats and dogs sometimes, but we're a family. We love each other, and we're gonna fight for each other. And that's what I want to build with the Greco-Roman program.
You were one of the guys that came from like a college background. You know, Rulon Gardner, Brad Veering, a lot of guys did. I mean, do you see that as one of the big components, is getting some of these guys that wrestle in college to go into Greco?
Well, that's a great question, because I think you already know the answer. I think you know that that's absolutely the key, and I think everybody has identified that. We've tried the program up in Michigan where we're going to pull guys and we're going to just train them in Greco, and we haven't got the results right away that we'd hoped. We've been trying that for a while, and I think we need to go back to our original approach. What got us success in the past? I love that. I hate to see us lose anything that is Greco-Roman, and maybe there's a way to modify it and keep that kind of a program, but really put our emphasis on getting the guys that we can get. We have identified a lot of blue chip college guys that are coming out of college in a year. College wrestling is important for our Greco guys. Absolutely, I believe it 100%. And you know, I want people to know that I believe in the college system to develop our Greco guys. Whether it's 4 years or 1 year, I think that's going to depend on your individual. I think 4 years could be too much for some guys, because now their body's tired. They've spent too much in that college system. But you know, I've got guys that I would love to bring into my Greco program, but I've already kind of, before I was a coach here, said, you know, I'd like to see you go to college and develop the toughness and the work ethic and know how to train, because you're going to learn that through our college systems.
They changed the rules last year. I mean, there's a lot more scoring, a lot more action. I mean, just how good is that for Greco? Because guys seem to be opening up more on their feet and scoring more.
I love the rules. I mean, this is Greco-Roman like I knew it. When I started coming back to the sport after, you know, spending a decade in MMA and raising my kids and focusing on my life and my family, and that was what allowed me to come back. Was I got my kids off to college and out of the house, and so when I came back, I didn't recognize the sport, and it was really disappointing. It was hard to watch Greco-Roman. And it didn't take too long for them to figure out that we needed to get our rules back to where they were. These are the rules that I wrestled at. I love this style. It's a style I know how to win at this style. There's a very serious component to the parterre game. I felt like that everybody has to have a strength, and that was my strength when I competed. I had the ability to turn everybody or lift them, and I knew how to defend on the bottom. You know, when I started, you know, winning and getting medals for the United States, that's what I did. I competed and turned guys, and I defended on the bottom. But until we learn how to do that, we're not gonna produce medals. And so we're gonna have to get really good on the parterre, and we're gonna have to focus on this style of wrestling. I love it though. It's exciting for me.
Do you think, is that where the Iranians and the Russians have the advantage now, do you think? Is a lot of it is parterre?
Well, I think that's where we have the slight disadvantage, because of our guys are wrestling the collegiate style. And I don't want to bag on that, because I think it's a really important component, the collegiate programs and the colleges. I just think that we need to develop these guys parterre quickly, because let's face it, the other countries are doing it. They're so closer to proximity than we are. I mean, we can't just drive over to the next country and get world-class international matches, you know, like you can in Europe. You got to get on a plane. You got to travel overseas. We have a lot of challenges that the Europeans don't, as far as getting our guys the experience in the parterre positions. But you know, really, they're gonna get it if we get the right guys. We can teach them how to wrestle Greco, and that's what I want to just emphasize over and over. I want the right guys that want to learn, and we can develop them into Greco-Roman wrestlers very quickly.
And last question, I mean, the World Championships aren't that far away, but it looks like we've got some guys that can be in the hunt for medals this year. I mean, Robbie Smith was 5th last year, Mango was 5th, and there's some guys that look like they're not that far away.
Well, and that's why my focus right now is on my athletes, and I don't know who our guys are going to be yet, I don't know who, I don't want to be picking teams like Robbie and Mango, but they're obviously, strong candidates for being our best guys. And I'd love to work with both of those gentlemen and the rest of the guys who were on the team last year. And yeah, I think we're right there, and that's why, instead of going out and recruiting and developing and doing all those things, I want to focus on my guys and get them ready to go compete, because I believe in the talent we have right now. We just don't have enough of it.